The first day we were here, I got a bagel and cream cheese, and it was $12. So I definitely had a little bit of sticker shock.
$9 for a coffee. Like in the UK, that's what, like we pay £4, £5 for a coffee. So yeah, crazy.
Las Vegas was once called the city where anyone could escape reality for a weekend, where cheap thrills and bright neon lights welcomed families, workers, and dreamers alike. But step onto the Strip today, and you'll feel something entirely different. Imagine walking into a hotel lobby and paying nearly $8 for a single bottle of water, or watching a discount room advertised at $40 a night explode into over $200 once hidden resort fees are added. And then, after you've paid the bill, you step into the casino at 4 in the afternoon and discover row after row of empty chairs, slot machines humming, with no players in sight. This isn't the Las Vegas that lived in America's imagination. The shock doesn't stop there. Visitors report being charged $30 for a short ride downtown, or seeing a simple plate of nachos at a mid-tier restaurant climb beyond $25. Luxury cocktails can cost more than an entire dinner did a decade ago. Even the so-called affordable packages like attraction bundles or discount zipline tickets are drowned out by an avalanche of fees that erase any sense of value. What was once a city of endless bargains has transformed into a playground carefully designed to filter out anyone who isn't prepared to spend like the wealthy. And the evidence is in the numbers. Hotel occupancy is slipping, visitor counts have dropped by double digits compared to last year, and international tourists are choosing to stay away altogether. For the first time in decades, Las Vegas feels fragile, as if the very foundation of its identity is cracking under the pressure of rising costs. This isn't just about one city in Nevada, it's a warning sign about the hidden cost of living in America itself. Las Vegas is supposed to be an escape from reality, but instead it has become a mirror, reflecting the growing divide between those who can afford indulgence and those who are quietly being pushed out. If the so-called entertainment capital of the world is struggling to keep its promise to ordinary people, what does that say about the country as a whole? Walk through the Strip today and you'll notice how quickly the illusion of affordability collapses. A room advertised at a bargain rate might look like $40 on the billboard, but by the time resort fees, destination charges, and mandatory add-ons appear on your receipt, the total can easily cross $200. And it doesn't end with the room. Guests are stunned to discover fees for early check-in, fees for late checkout, even charges for parking in lots that used to be free. The old promise that Las Vegas was the cheapest getaway in America has vanished behind fine print and hidden costs. This pattern is everywhere. A couple traveling on a budget, lured by bright advertisements for discounted shows, find themselves paying more in service charges than for the tickets themselves. At the restaurants that line the casinos, a side of fries that once cost pocket change can now approach double digits. The quiet outrage builds not just because of the price, but because of the feeling of being misled. What was once spontaneous fun has become a calculated trap. And while these costs soar, the atmosphere tells a different story. Video clips circulate of half-empty casino floors, rows of slot machines blinking without players, and blackjack tables standing unused in the middle of the afternoon. For a city that built its reputation on constant energy and packed crowds, the silence feels eerie. Tourists who do arrive often describe a strange contradiction, paying more than ever, but experiencing less of the excitement they came for. Locals whisper that the city has lost its soul. Vegas used to thrive on volume, drawing in the working class, students, and retirees who could stretch $1 across an entire weekend. That stream of everyday visitors has slowed, replaced by a model that prioritizes fewer guests willing to spend extravagantly. In chasing wealth, Las Vegas risks erasing the very diversity of people who made it famous. The dining scene tells the same story. What once was a place for endless buffets, cheap breakfasts, and $2 shrimp cocktails has transformed into a luxury marketplace where even the simplest meal comes with sticker shock. A casual diner ordering a plate of nachos is stunned to see the bill stretch beyond $25. A single beer, in what should be an ordinary bar can match the price of an entire dinner outside the city. And at high-end venues, menus casually list premium items that climb into triple digits. The thrill of indulgence is no longer about winning a jackpot, it's about whether you can afford to sit down for lunch. Even nightlife, the heartbeat of Las Vegas, now feels designed for the few. Clubs that once welcomed long lines of partygoers now guard their doors with cover charges that rival a week's worth of groceries. Inside, cocktails can cost the same as utility bills back home. For younger travelers, students, and working-class visitors, the excitement fades quickly when a single night out drains their entire budget. What was once the playground of the masses is now a velvet rope experience reserved for those willing to pay. And yet, amid the neon, a strange emptiness lingers. The sound of laughter that once spilled across the strip is muted, replaced by the hum of machines with no players and the echo of empty walkways. Visitors whisper that the energy feels off, that the crowds aren't what they used to be. Even convention organizers quietly admit attendance is slipping, with hotel occupancy charts confirming the decline. Behind the dazzling signs, there's a city straining to hide the reality that ordinary Americans are being priced out of the party. Longtime gamblers remember a very different Las Vegas. They talk about blackjack tables where the minimum bet was low enough for anyone to sit and play, and dealers who welcome novices with patience instead of cold efficiency. Those days are gone. The low-limit tables have nearly disappeared, replaced by games that demand higher stakes and offer less favorable odds. For casual players, the fun of stretching $20 across an evening has been replaced by the sting of losing the same amount in a single hand. The city that once promised everyone a seat at the table now seems to ask, how much are you willing to risk just to join? Locals, too, see the shift. They remember a time when the Strip catered not just to tourists, but to the people who lived and worked in the valley. Today, many of them avoid the main resorts entirely, venturing downtown or to neighborhood casinos, where prices remain closer to reality. It's telling when residents of the entertainment capital of the world choose to find entertainment elsewhere. The Strip, with all its glitter, feels less like home and more like a gated enclave for outsiders who can afford it. This divide is felt most sharply by middle-income families who once made Vegas their go-to getaway. Parents who once drove in for a weekend now calculate that the cost of a room, meals, and a few shows is equal to a month's rent back home. For many, the math simply doesn't work anymore. The result is a hollowing out of the very audience that kept Vegas alive for decades. In chasing affluence, the city has overlooked the steady loyalty of ordinary people, and the absence is showing. Even the simple act of getting around the city has become a reminder of rising costs. A short ride from the Strip to downtown, once just a handful of dollars, can now approach $30, leaving visitors stunned before the night has even begun. Ride-sharing apps, taxis, and even shuttle services seem to climb higher with each season, another hidden tax on the Vegas experience. For travelers who came expecting a carefree weekend, every receipt feels like a small betrayal. Downtown Las Vegas still tries to hold on to its image as the affordable alternative. Fremont Street buzzes with performers and neon lights, offering drinks and meals that seem modest compared to the Strip's inflated menus. But even here, the tide is turning. Bundled attractions and so-called discount experiences are increasingly wrapped in service charges that erode their value. What once felt like a haven for budget-conscious visitors is beginning to show cracks, caught between nostalgia and the same pressures driving up costs across the city. And beyond America's borders, the story grows darker. Airlines that once funneled steady flows of international tourists into Nevada are cutting routes, reporting steep declines in passengers. Visitors from Canada, who once filled hotels and shows in massive numbers, are choosing to stay away, discouraged by rising airfares and the shock of spending power that evaporates upon arrival. With international travel shrinking by double digits, Las Vegas is losing not only revenue, but its global reputation as a must-see destination. For a city built on constant influx, the message is clear. When the costs climb too high, people simply stop coming. The lights still shine, the music still plays, but the crowds that once defined the Strip are thinning. The pandemic left scars that never fully healed. Several venues shuttered in 2020 never reopened, their doors still locked behind dusty signs and darkened marquees. For years, Las Vegas sold itself as resilient, a city that could bounce back from anything. But this time, the cracks are visible. Hotels report occupancy down by double digits compared to last year, average daily room rates slipping, and entire conventions smaller than they once were. Behind the bright advertising campaigns, spreadsheets quietly tell a story of decline. That decline ripples outward into the wider economy. Nearly a third of Southern Nevada's livelihood is tied directly to tourism, from hotel workers and bartenders to taxi drivers and performers. When visitor counts drop, jobs disappear, and local families feel the squeeze. The cost of living for residents has surged as wages lag behind, leaving many in the shadow of luxury towers struggling to afford groceries and rent. The glittering Strip, designed for wealth, sits side by side with neighborhoods where people are making impossible choices just to survive. City officials are sounding the alarm. In a recent press conference, the mayor practically pleaded with travelers to return, painting a picture of resilience while acknowledging the harsh truth. Las Vegas cannot thrive on empty casinos and half-filled hotels. Her call was less a celebration of the city's future and more a desperate appeal for help. The world's entertainment capital is running out of its most important commodity people, and without them, the city's identity itself is at risk. Las Vegas was once marketed as an escape, a place where ordinary people could feel rich for a weekend. But today, it has become a mirror of something far larger, the hidden cost of living in America. The same forces that turn a $40 room into a $200 bill are at work across the country, reshaping how people eat, travel, and even dream. Rising costs are not just emptying casinos, they are emptying lives of the simple joys that once felt attainable. The transformation of Vegas is a warning. When a city built on excitement and affordability becomes a place of exclusion, the consequences ripple beyond its borders. Families who once saved all year for a trip to the Strip are giving up, choosing instead to stay home or find cheaper destinations. International tourists, once a reliable lifeline, are quietly vanishing. The very identity of Las Vegas, a city that belonged to everyone, is slipping away, leaving behind a playground for the wealthy and a hollow promise for everyone else. The neon lights still glow, but they no longer mask the truth. Behind the spectacle lies a fragile economy, shrinking crowds, and a population struggling to keep pace with rising expenses. If Las Vegas is dying, it is not dying alone. It stands as a symbol of a nation where the cost of living is pushing ordinary people to the margins. One hidden fee, one overpriced drink, one empty casino at a time. The question now is not whether Las Vegas can survive, but whether America itself can afford to ignore what is happening here. Because the fate of the Strip may very well be the fate of the country.